Let's read the Bible for 20 minutes. I read the Bible yesterday for 10 because I was kind of in a rush. I wasn't in the best mindset yesterday, so I only read 10 minutes. But today, we're going to get 20 minutes in, longer than yesterday. Sometimes I do an hour, but I don't think that's going to happen today because I have some other things to do, but I do want to put God first by first posting this. So let's go. Joshua chosen to lead Israel. One day the Lord said to Moses, "Climb one of the mountains east of the river and look out over the land I have given the people of Israel. After you have seen it, you will die like your brother Aaron, for you both rebelled against my instructions in the wilderness of Zin. When the people of Israel rebelled, you failed to demonstrate my holiness to them at the waters. These were the waters of Meribah, Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin. Then Moses said to the Lord, O Lord, you are the God that gives breath to all the creatures. Please appoint a new man as a leader for the community. Give them someone who will guide them wherever they go and will lead them into battle, so the community of the Lord will not be like sheep without a shepherd." So the Lord replied, "Take Joshua, son of Nun, who has the Spirit in him, and lay your hands on him. Present him to Eleazar and the priest before the whole community, and publicly commission him to lead the people. Transfer some of your authority to him, so the whole community of Israel will obey him. When direction from the Lord is needed, Joshua will stand before Eleazar the priest, who will use the Urim, one of the sacred lots cast before the Lord, to determine his will. This is how Joshua and the rest of the community of Israel will determine everything that they should do." So Moses did as the Lord had commanded. He presented Joshua to Eleazar the priest and the whole community. Moses laid his hand on him and commissioned him to lead the people, just as the Lord had commanded through Moses. The daily offerings. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Give these instructions to the people of Israel. The offerings you present as a special gift are a pleasing aroma to me. They are my food. See to it that they are brought at the appointed time and offered according to my instructions. Say to the people, this is a special gift you may present to the Lord on your daily burnt offering. You must offer 2 one-year-old male lambs with no defects. Sacrifice 1 lamb in the morning and the other in the evening. With each lamb you must offer a grain offering of 2 quarts of choice flour mixed with 1 quart of pure olive oil, pressed olives. This is the regular burnt offering instituted on Mount Sinai as a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Along with it, you must present the proper liquid offering of 1 quart of alcoholic drink with each lamb. Pour it out in the holy place as an offering to the Lord. Offer the second lamb in the evening with the same grain offering and liquid offering. It, too, is a special gift of pleasing aroma to the Lord. The Sabbath offering. On Sabbath day, sacrifice 2 one-year-old male lambs with no defects. They must be accompanied by a grain offering of 4 quarts of choice flour moistened with olive oil and a liquid offering. This is the burnt offering to be presented each Sabbath day, in addition to the regular burnt offering accompanying liquid offerings. Okay, so we've got a ton of offerings here. I think I'm going to skip them. If you want to read them on your own, you may. But I don't think I need to read it, because it's basically the monthly offerings, the daily offerings, the Sabbath offerings, offerings at Passover, offerings at the festival harvest, and offerings on the Day of Atonement, which are all important celebrations that they have. And it's important, it's good to read, but I've already read it like 100 times. Like, I've repeated the same offerings many times, and I don't need to do that again. So then we also have this page, offerings. Offerings for the Festival of Shelters, and then let's do laws concerning the vows. Then Moses summoned the leaders of the tribes of Israel and told them, "This is what the Lord has commanded. A man who makes a vow to the Lord or makes a pledge under an oath must never break it. He must do exactly what he said he would do. If a young woman makes a vow to the Lord or a pledge under an oath while she is living at her father's home, and her father hears the vow or pledge and does not object to it, then all her vows and pledges will stand. But if her father then refuses to let her fulfill the vow or pledges on the day he hears it, then the vows and pledges will become invalid. The Lord will forgive her because her father would not let her fulfill them. Now suppose a young woman makes a vow or binds herself to an impulsive pledge and later marries. If her husband learns of her vow or pledge and does not object on the day he hears it, her vows and pledges will stand. But if her husband refuses to accept her vow or impulsive pledge on the day he hears it, he nullifies her commitments and the Lord will forgive her. If, however, a woman is a widow or is divorced, she must fulfill all her vows and pledges. But suppose a woman is married and living in her husband's home when she makes a vow or binds herself with a pledge. If her husband hears it and does not object to it, her vow or pledge will stand, but if her husband refuses to accept it on the day he hears, the vow or pledge will be nullified and the Lord will forgive her. So her husband may either confirm or nullify any vows and pledges she makes to deny herself, but if he does not object on the day he hears it, then he is agreeing to all her vows and pledges. If he waits more than a day and then tries to nullify a vow or pledge, he will be punished for her guilt. These are the regulations the Lord gave Moses concerning relationships between a man and wife and between a father and a young daughter who still lives at home. Okay, conquest of the Midianites. Then the Lord said to Moses, on behalf of the people of Israel, take revenge on the Midianites for leading them into idolatry. After that you will die and join your ancestors. So Moses said to the people, choose some men and arm them to fight the Lord's war of revenge against Midian. From each tribe of Israel send 1,000 men into battle. So they chose 1,000 men from each tribe of Israel, a total of 12,000 men and armed for battle. Then Moses sent them out, 1,000 men for each tribe. And Phinehas, son of Eleazar, the priest, led them into the battle. They carried along the holy objects of the sanctuary and trumpets for sounding charge. They attacked Midian as the Lord had commanded Moses, and they killed all the men. All 5 of the Midianite kings, Evi, Rechem, Zur, Hur, and Reba, died in the battle. They also killed Balaam, son of Beor, with a sword. Then the Israel army captured the Midianite women and children and seized their cattle, flocks, and all the wealthy plunder. They burned all the towns and villages where the Midianites had lived. After that, they had gathered plunder and captives, both people and animal. They brought them to Moses and Eleazar the priest and the whole plains of Moab beside the Jordan River across from Jericho. Moses, Eleazar the priest, and all the leaders from the community went out to meet them outside the camp, but Moses was furious with the generals and captains who had returned from battle. Why have you let all the women live? He demanded. They are the very ones who followed Balaam's advice and caused the people of Israel to rebel against the Lord at Mount Peor. They are the ones who caused the plague to strike the Lord's people. So kill all the boys and all the women who have had intercourse with a man. Only the young girls who are virgins may live. You may keep them for yourselves, and all of you who have killed anyone or touched a dead body must stay outside the camp for 7 days. You must purify yourselves and your captives on the 3rd and 7th day. Purify all your clothing too, and everything made of leather, goat hair, or wood. Then Eleazar the priest said to the men who were in battle, the Lord has given Moses this legal requirement. Anything made of gold, silver, bronze, iron, tin, or lead, that is all metal that do not burn, must pass through the fire in order to be made ceremonially pure. These metal objects must then be further purified with water of purification, but everything that burns must be purified by the water alone. On the 7th day, you must wash your clothes and be purified, then you may return to the camp. Division of the plunder. And the Lord said to Moses, you and Eleazar, the priest and family leaders of each tribe, are to make a list of all the plunder taken into battle, including the people and the animals. Then divide the plunder into 2 parts and give half to the men who fought in the battle and the half to the rest of the people. From the army's portion, give the Lord his share of the plunder. 1 of every 500 of the prisoners and of cattle, donkeys, sheep, and goats. Give this share to... Sorry, I'm so slow. I think I'm gonna take a shower today. Wait, sorry. Where was I? Oh. So Moses and Give the share of the army's half to Eleazar the priest as an offering to the Lord. From half of the belonging belongs to the people of Israel, take 1 of every 50 of the prisoners and of the cattle, donkeys, sheep, goats, and other animals. Give this share to the Levites who are in charge of maintaining the Lord's tabernacle. So Moses Eleazar the priest did as the Lord had commanded Moses. The plunder remaining from everything the fighting men had taken totaled to 675,000 sheep and goat, to 72,000 cattle, 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 virgin girls. That's crazy how they're on the list of animals. Okay, half of the plunder was given to the fighting men. It was totaled to 337,500 sheep and goat, of which 675 were the Lord's share. 36,000 cattle, of which 72 the Lord had, 30,500 donkeys, 61 the Lord had, and 16,000 virgin girls, 32 the Lord had. Okay. Moses gave the Lord's share to Eleazar the priest, just as the Lord had directed him. Half of the plunder belonged to the people of Israel, and Moses separated it from the half the belongings to the fighting men. It totaled to 336,500 sheep and goat, 36,000 cattle, 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 virgin girls. From the half the share given to the people, Moses took one of every 50 prisoners, an animal gave them to the Levites who maintained the Lord's tabernacle. All this was done as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then the general and captains came from Moses and said, "We are your servants. We, your servants, have accounted for all the men who went out to battle under our command. No one was missing. Not one of us is missing. So we are all presenting the items of gold we captured as an offering to the Lord for our share of the plunder: armbands, bracelets, earrings, rings, necklaces. This will purify our lives before the Lord and make us right with him." So Moses and Eleazar the priest received the gold from all the military commanders, all kinds of jewelry and crafted objects, and all the gold that was the generals and captains presented as a gift to the Lord weighed about 420 pounds. All the fighting men had taken some of the plunder for themselves. So Moses and Eleazar the priest accepted the gifts from the generals and captains and brought the gold to the tabernacle as a reminder to the Lord and the people of Israel that the people of Israel belonged to him. Okay. Give me a moment. I'm trying to understand this. Okay, I didn't really know what the word plunder means, but the whole list of plunder gave me a pretty good explanation from context. Okay. The tribe east of Jordan. Okay. Tribe east of Jordan is pretty long. I'm going to finish the tribe east of Jordan, then I'm going to do remembering Israel's journey. The tribes of Reuben and Gad owned vast numbers of livestock. So when they saw the land of Jazer and Gilead were idly suited for their flocks and herds, they came to Moses, Eleazar the priest, and the other leaders of the community. They said, "Notice the towns Atorath, Dibon, Jazer, Nimrah, Heshbon, Elihah, Sibmah, Nebo. The Lord had conquered this whole area for the community of Israel, and it is ideally suited for all our livestock. If we have found favor with you, please let us have this land as the property instead of giving us land across the Jordan River."
I'll be back.
Bye, Dad. Love you. Wait, instead of giving us land across the Jordan River. Alright, sorry, I keep pausing it. "Do you intend to stay here while your brothers go across and do all the fighting?" Moses asked the men of Gad and Reuben. "Why do you want to discourage the rest of the people of Israel from going across the land that the Lord had given them? Your ancestors did the same thing when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to explore the land. After they went up the valley of Eshcol and explored the land, they discouraged the people of Israel from entering the land the Lord was giving them. Then the Lord was very angry with them, and he vowed, 'Of all those I rescued from Egypt, no one who is 20 years old or older will ever see the land I swore to give to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for they had not obeyed me wholeheartedly. The only exception are Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and Kezanite, and Joshua, son of Nun, for they have wholeheartedly followed the Lord.' The Lord was angry with Israel and made them wander in the wilderness for 40 years until the entire generation had sinned in the Lord's sight had died. But here you are, a brood of sinners, doing exactly the same thing. You are making the Lord even angrier. With Israel. If you turn away from him like this and he abandons and he abandons them again in the wilderness, you will be responsible for destroying the entire nation. But they approached Moses and said, We simply want to build pens for our livestock and fortified towns for our wives and children. Then we will arm ourselves and lead our fellow Israelites into battle until we have brought them safely to their land. Meanwhile, our families will stay in the fortified towns we built here, so they will be safe from any attacks of our local people. We will not return to our homes until all the people of Israel have received their portion of land, but we do not claim any of the land on the other side of the Jordan River. We'd rather live here on the east side and accept this as a grant of land. Then Moses said, If you keep your word and arm yourself for the Lord's battles, and if your troops cross the Jordan River and keep fighting until the Lord has driven out his enemies, then you may return when the Lord has conquered the land. You will have fulfilled your duty to the Lord and the rest of the people of Israel, and the land on the east side of the Jordan will be your property to the Lord. But if you fail to keep your word, then you will have sinned against the Lord, and you may be sure that your sins will find you out. Go ahead and build towns for your families and pens for your flocks, but do everything you have promised. Then the men of Gad and Reuben replied, We your servants will follow the instructions exactly. Our children, wives, flocks, and cattle will stay here in the towns of Gilead. But all who are able to bear arms will cross over to fight for the Lord, just as you have said. So Moses gave orders to Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and leaders of the clans of Israel. He said, The men of Gad, Reuben, who are armed for battle, must cross the Jordan with you to fight for the Lord. If they do, give them the land of Gilead as a property when the land is conquered. But if they refuse to arm themselves and cross over with you, then they must accept land with the rest of you in the land of Canaan. The tribe of Gad and Reuben said again, We are your servants, and we will do as the Lord had commanded. We will cross the Jordan into Canaan fully armed to fight for the Lord, but our property will be here on this side of Jordan. So Moses assigned land to the tribe of Gad, Reuben, and half the tribe of Manasseh, son of Joseph. He gave them the territory of King Sihon of Amorites and the land of King Og of Bashan, the whole land with its city and surrounding lands. The descendants of Gad built the towns of Dibon, Atara, Aror, Atroth, Shaphan, Gaz. I cannot pronounce these. These were all fortified towns and pens for their flocks. The descendants of Reuben built towns, and then they changed the names of some of the towns they conquered and rebuilt. Then the descendants Machir of tribe Manasseh went to Gilead and conquered it, and they drove out the Amorites living there. So Moses gave Gilead to the Machirites, descendants of Manasseh, and they settled there. The people of Jair, another clan of the tribe of Manasseh, captured many of the towns Gilead and changed the name of the region to the town of Jair. Meanwhile, a man named Nobah captured the town of Kenneth and its surrounding villages, and he renamed the area Nobah after himself. Remembering Israel's journey. This is the route the Israelites followed as they marched out of Egypt under the leadership of Moses and Aaron. At the Lord's direction, Moses kept a written record of their progress. These are the stages of their march identified by the different places where they stopped along the way. They set out from the city of Ramses in the early spring. On the 15th day of the first month, on the first morning of the first Passover celebration, the people of Israel left defiantly in full view of the Egyptians. Meanwhile, the Egyptians were burying all of their firstborn sons, whom the Lord had killed the night before. The Lord had defeated the god of Egypt that night with great acts of judgment. After leaving Ramses, the Israelites set up camp at Succoth. Then they left Succoth and camped at Etham on the edge of the wilderness. Then Etham and turned back towards Pi-Hahiroth, opposite Baal-Zephon, and camped near Migdal. They left Pi-Hahiroth and crossed the Red Sea into the wilderness beyond. Then they traveled for 3 days into the Etham wilderness and camped at Marah. Then they left Marah and camped at Elim, where there were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees. Then they left to Elim and camped at the Red Sea. They left the Red Sea and camped in the wilderness of Sin. Then they left the wilderness of Sin and camped at Dophkah. Then they left Dophkah and camped at Elash. Then they left Elash and camped at Rephidim. Then there was no water for the people to drink. They left Rephidim and camped at the wilderness of Sinai. They left from the wilderness of Sinai and camped at Kibroth Hattaavah. They left Kibroth Hattaavah and camped at Hazeroth. They left Hazeroth and camped at Rithmah. They left Rithmah and camped at all these places. And then it just goes on and on about all these places they went. And I think I don't... No, I don't want to repeat that. Ouch. Ouch. Okay. While they were camped near the Jordan River on the plains of Moab, opposite Jericho, the Lord said to Moses, "Give the following instructions to the people of Israel. When you cross the Jordan River into the land of Canaan, you must drive out the people living there. You must destroy all their carved and molten images and demolish all their pagan shrines. Take possession of their land and settle in it, because I have given it to you to occupy. You must distribute land among your clans by sacred lot and in proportion to their size. A large proportion of land will be allotted to each of the larger clans, and a smaller portion will be allotted to each of the smaller clans. The decision of the sacred lot is final. In this way, the portions of the land will be divided among your ancestral tribes. But if you fail to drive out the people who live in the land, who remain will be like splinters in your eyes and thorns in your sides. They will harass you in the land where you live, and I will do to you what I plan to do to them." Oh my gosh, that's kind of crazy. Boundaries of the land. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Give these instructions to the Israelites. When you come into the land of Canaan, which I am giving to you as your special possession, these will be the boundaries. The southern portion of the country will extend from the wilderness of Zin along the edge of Edom. The southern boundary will begin at the east of the Dead Sea. It will run south past Scorpion Pass in the direction of Zin. Its southernmost point will be Kadesh Barnea, from which it will go to Hazar Adar and on to Asmon. From Asmon, the boundary will turn to the brook of Egypt and the end at the Mediterranean Sea. Your western boundary will be at the coastline of the Mediterranean Sea. Your northern boundary will begin at the Mediterranean Sea and run from Mount Hor and then to Lebo Hamath, and run through to Zedad and Ziphron to Hazar Enon. This will be your northern boundary. The eastern boundary will start from Hazarnan and run through Shepham, then down to Riblah at the east side of Ain. From there, the boundary will run along the eastern edge of the Sea of Galilee, and then along the Jordan River to the Dead Sea. These are the boundaries of your land. Then Moses told the Israelites, this territory is the homeland you are to divide among yourselves by sacred lot. The Lord had commanded that the land be divided among the 9.5 remaining tribes. The family of the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and half the tribes of Manasseh have already received their grants of land on the east side of the Jordan River across from Jericho towards sunrise. Leaders to divide the land. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Eleazar the priest and Joshua son of Nun and the men designed to divide the grants of land among the people. Enlist one leader for each of the tribes to help them with the task. These are the tribes and the name of the leaders." So we have tribe Judah, Simeon, Benjamin, Dan, Manasseh son of Joseph, Ephraim son of Joseph, Zebulun, Issachar, Asher, and Naphtali. And then for the leaders, it's going to be in order, same from the first tribe that I said to the last. Caleb son of Jephunneh, Shemuel son of Ammihud, Elidad son of Kislon, Bucky son of Jogli, Haniel son of Ephod, Kemuel son of Shiftan, Elizephon son of Parnak, Paltiel son of Azan, Ahuid son of Shalami, Padel son of Ammihud. These are the men the Lord had appointed to divide the grants of land in Canaan among the Israelites. Towns for the Levites. While Israel was camped beside the Jordan River on the plains of Moab across from Jericho, the Lord said to Moses, "Command the people of Israel to give the Levites from their property certain towns to live in, along with the surrounding pasture lands. These are the towns. These towns will be for the Levites to live in, and the surrounding lands will provide pasture for their cattle, flocks, and other livestock. The pasture land assigned to the Levites across from these towns will extend 1,500 feet from the town walls in each direction, measuring off 3,000 feet outside of the town walls in every direction, east, south, southwest, north, with the town in the center. This area will serve as a large pasture land for the town. 6 of the towns you give the Levites will be cities of refuge, where a person who has accidentally killed someone can flee for safety. In addition, give them 42 other towns. In all, 40 towns will be the surrounding pasture land will be given to the Levites. These towns will come from the property of the people of Israel. The larger tribes will give more towns to the Levites, while the smaller tribes will get fewer. Each tribe will be given property in proportion to the size of the land. Cities of refuge. The Lord said to Moses, "Give the following instructions to the people of Israel. When you cross the Jordan into the land of the Canaanite, designate cities of refuge to which people can flee if they have killed someone accidentally. These cities will be places of protection from the dead person's relative who wants to avenge the death. The slayer must not be put to death before being tried to the community. Designate 6 cities of refuge for yourself, 3 on the east side of the Jordan River and 3 on the west in the land of Canaan. These cities are the protection of Israelites, foreigners living among you, and travelers and traveling merchants. Anyone who accidentally killed someone may flee to safety there. But if someone strikes and kills another person with a piece of iron, it is murder, and the murderer must be executed. Or if someone with a stone in hand strikes and kills another person, it is murder, and the murderer must be put to death. Or if someone strikes and kills another person with a wooden object, it is also murder. The victim's nearest relative is responsible for putting the murderer to death. When they meet the avenger must put the murderer to death. So if someone hates another person and waits to ambush, then puts him or throws something at him and he dies, it is murder. Or if someone hates another person and hits him with the fist, he dies, it is murder. In such cases, the avenger must put the murderer to death when they meet. But suppose someone pushes another person without having shown previous hostility, or throws something unintentionally and hits another person, or accidentally drops a huge stone on someone, though they were not enemies, and the person dies. If this should happen, the community must follow these regulations in making a judgment between the slayer and the avenger, the victim's nearest relative. The community must protect the slayer from the avenger and must escort the slayer back to into the city of refuge to which he fled. There he must remain until the death of the highest priest who was anointed with the sacred oil. Okay. But if the slayer ever leaves the limits of the city of refuge and the avenger finds him outside the city and kills him, it will be considered murder. The slayer should not have stayed inside the city of refuge until the death of the high priest. But after the death of the high priest, the slayer may return to his property. These are the legal requirements for you to observe from generation to generation. Wherever you may live. Okay. All murderers must be put to death, but only if evidence is presented by more than one witness. No one may be put to death on this testimony of only one witness. Also, you must never accept a ransom payment for the life of someone judged guilty of murder and subject to execution. Murderers must always be put to death, and never accept a ransom payment from someone who has fled to a city of refuge, allowing a slayer to return to his property before the death of the high priest. This will ensure that the land where you live will not be polluted murderer pollutes the land, and no sacrifice except the execution of the murderer can purify the land from the murderer. You must not defile the land where you live, for I live there myself. I am the Lord who lives among the people of Israel. Women who inherit property. Then the heads of the clan of Gilead, descendant of Machir, son of Manasseh, son of Joseph, came to Moses and the family leaders of Israel with a petition. They said, "Sir, the Lord instructed you to divide the land by a sacred lot among the people of Israel. You were told by the Lord to give a grant to land owned by brothers of Zelophehad to his daughters. But if they marry men from another tribe, their grants of land will go with them to the tribe into which they marry. In this way, the total area of the tribal land will be reduced. Then when the year of Jubilee comes, their portion of land will be added to the new tribe, causing it to be lost forever on our ancestral tribes. So Moses gave the Israelites this command from the Lord. This claim of the men of the tribe of Joseph is legitimate. This is what the Lord commands concerning the daughters of Zelophehad. Let them marry anyone they like, as long as it's within their ancestral tribe. None of the territorial land may pass from tribe to tribe, for all the land given to each tribe must remain within the tribe to which it was first allotted. The daughters through the tribes of Israel who are in line to inherit the property must marry within their tribe, so that all the Israelites will keep their ancestral property. No grant of land may pass from one tribe to another. Each tribe of Israel must keep its allotted proportion of land. The daughter of Zelophehad did as the Lord had commanded Moses. Mahlah, Tirzah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Noah all married cousins of their father's side. They married into the clans of Manasseh, son of Joseph. Thus their inheritance of land remained within their ancestral tribe. These are the commands and regulations that the Lord gave to the people of Israel through Moses while they camped on the plain of Moab beside the Jordan River across from Jericho. That's it. We're starting Deuteronomy tomorrow.